It's time to get your mind right with the Mind on Greatness podcast crew. Welcome to the Mind on Greatness podcast show.
Ladies and gentlemen, and the people that pay for this remix, I just want y'all to know, y'all all right with me, you heard? Love all of y'all. I'm your boy, Fresh. Now let's talk about
Y'all know what it is, you know what I'm saying? It's the H-Town thing, baby. That song right there. This song right here, my bad. That's your boy Slim Thug, you know what I'm saying? Diamonds pressing up against the wood grain wheel. That's how the chorus go, you feel me? But anyway, you want to catch that joint, go ahead and catch it on iTunes. We do not own any rights to that song. We just want to give y'all a little flavor as we bring y'all in. But you know what it is. It's Mind on Greatness podcast, you know what I'm saying? Got my main man right there. Boss Dog, K-Po through the door. You got me, Brody on the hustle, you feel me? I was born in the tussle, so I'm going to get it and give it to you off the muscle, you feel me? But let's go ahead and get into what we got for y'all today, you know what I'm saying? NFL Week 13. The night just ended, you know what I'm saying? We still got one more Monday night game. You got the Jags and the Bengals, but we're going to talk about some of the action we got into, this Sunday. So, first game up, we got the Broncos and Texans. We're going to talk about them, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to you, K-Po. Let you give your little spiel on this, and then I'm going to ask a couple questions as you're done. Go ahead. Let it roll out, baby.
First and foremost, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Brody. Shout out to Mike, man. You know, we got great things coming. I want to keep reminding y'all that, man. Keep supporting us. The game, Texans Broncos. Heart attack. That's what I almost had, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, the Texans left a lot on that field. You know, play calling to, players not doing their job, missing assignments. It was just a lot going on offensively and defensively. The Texans had the lead majority of the game, and they really could have put it on the Broncos. They really should have blew them out. I think they should have won by a wider margin. That's just my opinion. But we could talk about if, fifth, and myth, all we want to. We got to talk about reality. And it was a hard-fought win by the Texans. Offensively, they were very fluent when they did put points on the board. They had a sense of urgency when they felt like they needed to have a sense of urgency to get those points. CJ Stroud looked very calm, cool, and collected. I like how this team has rallied around him. You saw the dude get in CJ Stroud face, and them lineman was like, "Hey, it ain't happening." And in the press conference, CJ Stroud told you, he said, "Look, I'm a man first, and I stand on business." So I really like that from coming from QB1, and I do like how this team has rallied around him. But like I said, CJ Stroud was very poised, calm, cool, collected, made plays with his legs, got the ball out of his hand when he needed to. Yeah, he lost his homeboy, his go-to guy, Tank Dell. Shout out to him. He out for the season, so next man up mentality. But overall, offensively, like I said, they did a decent job making plays. The run game was not really that effective in this particular game. I think personally they need to start Devin Singletary. That's just my opinion, but I understand why they start Dameon Pierce. But defense made plays. You had Stingley with 2 interceptions. Big play Sting. The Texans did not make the wrong decision in picking him over Sauce Gardner, because Sauce Gardner don't want to tackle. Stingley will tackle you, and he gonna take that ball from you. So it was a good gritty win. You know, these are the type of wins you need to build the culture and the foundation on your team to move forward and have an identity. You know what I mean? This is they're building championship grit. You know what I mean? Every game ain't gonna be pretty. Every game ain't gonna be cute. You're gonna have to fight to the end. And one thing about this Texas team, they fight to the end. So I was very impressed by how they fought. A little disappointed in the execution of some things, but reality is we got the win. What you got, B?
I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off that, man. What the deal is, Dameon Pierce, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he don't fit the scheme right now. I'm going to go ahead and toss that in there. He's a decent back, but this zone run scheme, I feel like he don't fit that. He just look all out of whack. He looked confused on what hole he's supposed to be hitting when he get the ball. Put Devin Singletary back in, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, he was the hot hand. I know you got Pierce back. You want to implement him because he did such a great job for y'all last year. But at the same time, right now, we not trying to make anybody feel good right now. The Texans need to do what they got to do. And the running back for this team, as you have seen in the past weeks, is Devin Singletary. So that's point number one. Point number two, stop making these games harder than what they need to be. Just like K-Po said, stop it. Cut it out. You know what I'm saying? When you're supposed to make that play, make that play. When you're supposed to make that call, make that call. You know what I'm saying? We can't keep putting it on the shoulders of the defense. Even though they standing tall, they standing strong. Like you said, they standing on business. You feel me? But at the same time, stop putting them in situations they have to go out week after week to make a big stand. Because we already know this league is offensively driven right now. But at the same time, if you got the defense that can do it for you, then kudos to your team. But right now, the Texans is playing decent defense when they need to. But at the same time, stop making these games way more competitive than they need to. But let's get these questions out the way. For you, first question. Do you believe the Texans can win out the rest of the season? And question number two. Without Tank Dell, will his offense struggle down the stretch to find explosive plays from the skill position? How you feel about them questions?
Great questions. I do think they can win out. Like I said, it comes down to execution. They have to execute, and that ties into the next question. Will they be explosive? I do think they will. I think this is opportunity for them to bring Mechie in the slot and have him do some things. You also could put Robert Woods in the slot. I mean, he played a lot of slot when he was with the Rams. So they got a lot of guys that are positionless. And what I mean by positionless, the guys who don't know football, they like, what you talking about? He played wide receiver. Within wide receiver, you have certain jobs within that receiving role. You have an X, Y, Z. You get what I mean? You have all these guys. And a slot receiver, you mainly want to put your guy who's more shifty, more fluent in his route running, quick guy, that you can get the ball to, your playmaker. And Robert Woods, the old vet, can't get put there. You could put Mitch in there. You still got Nico Collins on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they get Dalton Schultz back. So they got weapons. They got weapons galore. It's just up to the Bobby Slowick to call the right plays to get these guys in position to where their strengths can get put on display. A guy like Minchie, he's a good route runner. He's quick. Um, you gotta find out what he's good at and cater to that. You know what I mean? And put him in a position to succeed. So that's the response. What you got?
I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you. I think they can win out. You know what I'm saying? We this was one of the tougher games they had left on their schedule, and they went ahead and took care of business. Great play by Jimmy Ward at the end. Great rush by Grenard, to make Russell Wilson have to throw off his back foot and not be able to drive that pass in there. Jimmy Ward with the interception. So I think they'll continue to play strong defense down the stretch. I think they'll get into the playoffs. As far as the offense without Tank Dell, it's tough. It's gonna be tough, but at the same time, like you mentioned, the names you mentioned, Collins, you got Mechie, Woods. You know what I'm saying? You got to get Devin Singletary back involved, as I'm gonna keep saying until they do so. And not only that, I want to highlight this name, Brevin Jordan. Get him involved. He not the blocking tight ends the Houston Texans would like, but he brings a different dimension from that tight end position. He's big, he's physical, he's fast. He can be a box out type tight end, like going up for rebounds in basketball. He can be one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? And he's a tough matchup for any defender, especially if you're a linebacker. He's faster than a linebacker, and then he's bigger than most DBs. So I like how CJ Stroud got him involved today. And I've been looking for him. I didn't know if he was still there or not. But hey, there you go. He was there today. Okay, you feel me? But anyways, for the Broncos, you know what I'm saying? They just got to keep fighting. They've been playing solid football for the last month. You know what I'm saying? Nobody in that organization can be disappointed in what they've done in the last month and a week. And so, you know what I'm saying? So keep playing football. Maybe they'll land themselves in the playoffs. But I circled this game as whoever was to win this game would be one of the teams to make that wild card spot. The Texans got the dub, so I think the Texans go ahead and get a wild card spot, and that makes some noise in the playoffs. So let's go ahead and segue into the next topic, you feel me? 49ers versus the Eagles. Hey, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. 49ers found their groove against the Eagles. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you. Do I think the 49ers do it again? Absolutely not. I don't think they do it again. But I'm gonna get into mine after I let K-Po take over right here. Go ahead, K-Po. Let them know about this 49 Eagles game.
Um, what can I say? NFC Championship revenge game for the 49ers, right? You know, those of y'all that don't remember, let's go down memory lane. Eagles played the 49ers last year. Brock Purdy gets injured, and then Josh Johnson gets injured. And, then they trying to find out, who their quarterback gonna be. They bring in a dude who ain't played a snap. You get what I mean? And they lost. They lost that game, and the Eagles, those that know, went on to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Chiefs. So the 49ers came into this game with revenge on their mind, and they executed. I think they just outplayed the Eagles. The Eagles, in my opinion, been kind of getting by. The past couple games, just a couple. I mean, yeah, they 10-2 now, but you know they could easily have a couple of more losses on their resume. I mean, look at last week against the Bills. That Josh Allen. How often do you overcome that Josh Allen? You get what I mean? So I think that the Eagles. This was a wake up call for them. Great game by Purdy, great game by Debo Samuel, Ayuk, and Christian McCaffrey. All the big guys, big name guys make plays. So I think that this is definitely a stepping stone for the 49ers, but at the same time, it was a wake up call for the Eagles. I think this is gonna be that game that wakes them up and be like, okay, we can't make these games close no more. If we got opportunity to crush you, we're gonna crush you. We're gonna show you that we better than you. It's gonna make them elevate their game. It's gonna make Jalen Hurts better. It's gonna make AJ Brown. He had a decent game, but it's just gonna make the whole team better as a whole. You know what I mean? Granted, the 49ers statistically are better. Their defense is ranked in the top 5. Their offense is ranked in the top 10. So efficiently, they're a better team on paper. But when you look at their Eagles team, you know that they got better dogs than the Eagles do. That's just my perspective. So I'm passing to you, B. What you got?
I ain't gonna lie. Brock Purdy, he looked good today. He came out there and did what he wanted to do, and that was to get that dub on that field where he was injured at last season. And he came out there, he made a little statement. He did what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? For the Eagles, not too much to say about him. You know what I'm saying? Other than I'd rather them take that loss right now versus get into the playoffs. Riding high, flying high, feeling good. Oh, ain't nobody beat us in X amount of months, and then you get into the playoffs and you just run into that team that's like that, and then you get bounced first, second round, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe we should have took a loss. Nah, I'm glad they lost now so they can feel what it's like to be hungry again. Because remember, their whole motto, last year or maybe still this year, hungry dogs run fast. You know what I'm saying? And right now they plate is empty, but at the same time they full, they fat. Sometimes you got to pull that plate away from the fattest person at the table and let them starve a little bit so they feel like so they feel what it is to be hungry again. You know what I'm saying? So this is a good loss for them. It's not a bad loss for them. I like this loss. But couple questions for you. For the 49ers, do you think this win was perpetuated more of towards an offensive explosion or a defensive position, dominant position, or was it a combination of both? And question number 2, just like I answered at the beginning before we got into the game, do you think the 49ers could repeat this performance against the Eagles? Because everybody know they're going to see each other again in the playoffs. So go ahead and answer those 2 questions. Let them know how you feel about those 2 questions.
Um, I think for the first question, it was more a collective effort. I think it was a good team win. I thought they played a lot of complementary football. Although, offensively, you saw the flashiness, you saw Debo, you saw Brock Purdy doing things, but I think it was more a complementary game. They complement each other very well. Um, can the 49ers do this again if they see the Eagles in the playoffs? Um, possibly, and then no. And you may be like, which one is it? Which one is it? Um, it depends on the Eagles, right? It depends on, if the Eagles take this game and learn from this game and take off and close out the season the right way and go into the playoffs. You know, you don't want to limp into the playoffs. You want to, okay, we lost. All right, cool. We finna smash everybody down the stretch, and then we get in the playoffs. 9 times out of 10, they got a first round bye. Hey man, we gonna wait to see who our divisional opponent gonna be, right? So it depends on how the Eagles finish out and close out this season, and that's why I got it like that. The Eagles kind of limp in the playoffs, and the 49ers take off. Then yeah, I can see that, but if the Eagles learn from this game and do what they're supposed to do to teams they supposed to beat, I can see the Eagles beating the brakes off the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, most definitely, most definitely. I agree with you 1,000%. You feel me? I'm with you. I'm with you. So I got one bonus question for you right here, and this one gonna make you think on the fly real quick. So the Eagles, the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Who out of these two teams that I'm about to mention, who do you see knocking one of these two teams out? The Cowboys and the Lions. Do you see the 49ers struggling with the Cowboys? Do you see the Eagles struggling with the Lions, or vice versa? How you see these four teams battling it out in the playoffs? Because we know this pretty much on that side of the spectrum. This pretty much going to be the teams we're going to be looking at in the playoffs. So out of those two teams, the Lions and the Cowboys, which one of those two teams you think can knock either one of these teams off? Or if you don't think neither one of them can knock either one of these teams off, let them know how you feel about it.
I don't think neither one of them teams can. I'm convinced that the Lions are imposters, right? That's just what it is. The Lions are, you know, they not it. That's all I gotta say. You never know what you're gonna get with them. The Dallas Cowboys, their accident waiting to happen. I mean, how many years in a row have they lost to the 49ers? They went out, yeah, many times. They went out, they go to the playoffs, they hype them up, they get mollywopped. You know what I mean? So, and their division rival is the Eagles. You know what I mean? That's a matchup nightmare for Dak Prescott. And I know that he had a phenomenal game and it came down to the wire, but in playoff football, I'm telling you, it's just different. And they rise to the occasion. And I just don't believe in Dak Prescott or that offense. So I don't think neither one of them can beat any of them teams.
All right, for sure. There it is. There it is. You heard it first from Coach K. Poe right there. I like it. He got his coaching hat on today. My boy spitting to y'all. You feel me? Y'all better learn something. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get into this next game. Now, this game wasn't slated to be the big game or one of the big games of the week, but it ties into the Texans' playoff aspirations. And we talking about the Colts traveling over to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Now, the reason why we talking about this game again, no, we're not biased. We just love our hometown, Texas. You know what I'm saying? That it is what it is. So we've been keeping track of them the whole season, and it is what it is. We're gonna finish out the season with them. You know what I'm saying? But this game was big towards the Texans, and not only that, it was big towards the division because if the Colts take this L, then you put the Texans in position to just have to beat the Colts, and they'll put themselves in a solid position, to go ahead and be that solidified wild card. You know what I'm saying? They'll finish out. No, if they win against the Colts in the final game of the season, and the Titans would have took them out, they would have put themselves first, I believe. No, not first, because they split the tie between the Jaguars. Okay, my bad. But anyways, they still need a couple other things to happen, like the Browns taking the L like they did. You know what I'm saying? They need the Bengals to beat the Jags, you know what I'm saying? So these records gotta, the Texans gotta continue to win, and the Jags gotta continue to fall for the Texans to go ahead and leap them and do what they gotta do in the division and go ahead and just walk into the playoffs versus having to fight that extra fight through the wild card game. But I'm gonna let you take over this Colts and Titans game. Let them know how you feel about it.
I mean, for starters, man, it was a hard fought game. Tennessee brought their A game. Derrick Henry went down with an injury. Hope all is well with him. But Tennessee got this running back. Let me tell you, that boy. I think his last name Spears or something. The boy is cold. Like he nice. You know what I mean? If Tennessee ever move on from Derrick Henry, that boy gonna be starting. I mean, His vision is impeccable. His feet work. He finish runs. He run behind his pads. He can catch the ball. Like, he a complete back. You know what I mean? And like I say, if they ever move on from Derrick Henry, that boy gonna start. You know, they got a lot of promise with him. But like I said, it was a back and forth game. Nothing really jumped off the paper. You know, Will Levis had a decent game. It came down to the wire, in overtime, and Tennessee. And I just want to talk about Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly used to be the Texans offensive coordinator. Very vanilla play calling. They tried to do a flea flicker again, and it didn't. In that situation, you have to have situational awareness and understand what you're dealing with, and that wasn't the time to call that play. And that's why Tim Kelly's in Tennessee and he ain't in Houston, because that boy, you know, that's real talk. Got to keep it a stack. So, Tennessee was held to 3, and then the Colts get the ball in overtime. Gardner Minshew, Gardner time, right here, Gardner. Boy come down there and start slicing and dicing, throwing darts everywhere. I'm like, him? Gardner Minshew with the Dirty Joe trucker haircut, him? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Threw a deep ball down the left side. Dude caught it. Got in the red zone, threw the game when he touched down to Michael Pittman. This was a game we needed as Texan fans, because, like I said, the Colts beat us in game 1, right? And if Tennessee was able to beat the Colts, that would keep the Texans in the playoffs. But since the Colts won, the Texans are now on the outside looking at the Colts in the playoffs. So we needed this victory, but it was a hard-fought game by both teams. I blame the loss on Tim Kelly, I'm not gonna lie, and Mike Vrabel. And you didn't call the right plays down the stretch. So that's my take on that game. I don't expect the Colts, even if the Colts make the playoffs. I'm letting you know right now. And those of y'all don't know, Peso is a Colts fan, and I'm just letting you know, them boys gonna get the brakes beat off of them in the first round if they do make it. It's a waste of time. The Texans got a better chance. If the Texans make it, the Texans got a better chance to at least win a game. You're just gonna keep it a stack. But that's my take on it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I only watched the score of the game. I ain't even get into no deep action. I did see some highlight plays where Will Levis was doing it. He got hit doing the helicopter. He got up, got a first down. He flexed on him. It was another crazy play where I don't know if it was a fumble or the ball got tipped into the air or whatever, and he ran down the field right after it got tipped. Dude picked up the fumble. He fumbled it. Will Levis picked it up, got up. He was making crazy plays. He was doing. He was showing some grit. He was getting down and dirty from the quarterback position. So that's the only thing I really got into. But other than that, like I say, the Texans needed the Titans to win this game. Unfortunately, they dropped it. So it is what it is. The Texans got to keep doing what they got to do to get in the playoffs. And I really just don't want to see the Colts in the playoffs. They have nothing that stands out, that screams playoffs. I'm gonna win in the playoffs. I'm gonna make some noise in the playoffs. I'm gonna be the big. I'm gonna be the Cinderella. None of that. I don't want to see the Colts in the playoffs. But anyways, that's another talk for another time. But one more bonus question. We're gonna give y'all something extra right here. You know what I'm saying? As we start to set our minds toward the playoffs, let's not forget it's still a month left in the regular NFL season. That's not long to us, but for the guys that's taking part in it, that's taking the bruising, that's taking the beating, that's putting in the work, that's losing sleep, all this stuff, that's long to them. You know what I'm saying? Still a month left. You know what I'm saying? It's some teams, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of then solidified their spot within the playoff picture, by being first in their division, and there's not really too many to challenge them. So the question is, if the playoffs were to start today, what is there a team that you think is overhyped, underhyped, or right where they need to be, and give you reason why you chose this team? Now I'm gonna go first right here, and a lot of people gonna look at me crazy. They might talk bad about me, but I don't care. I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. They right now they overhyped, man. They overhyped. They overhyped. They overhyped in my opinion, man. They just took an L to the Green Bay Packers. Now the Green Bay Packers ain't no pushover team. Jordan Love has been playing solid football for the last month. You know, let's clear that up. I'm not talking bad about the Packers at all, but the Chiefs, man, people keep putting so much behind them. Yeah, they got Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, they got Travis Kelsey. But after that, what else? I mean, I like Pacheco. I like how he run the ball, but he doesn't scare any defense. He doesn't scare any team. They got MVS. What is he? They're not worried about covering him. They got Kadarius Tony, Sky Moore. They got all these names, and people keep trying to put put stuff behind them. I'm like, no. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have Tyreek Hill. He's still doing a solid job. He's not putting up those eye-popping numbers no more because he's not getting those 2 to 3 big plays that he used to get when he had a Tyreek Hill. And I hate to keep bringing it up, but it is what it is. Tyreek Hill has that effect on your offense when you have him on your team. Look at Tua and the Dolphins. Today, they snapped. This dude really, I think the dude literally about to hit 2,000 receiving yards by the end of the season. Like, no cap. He predicted it, and I think they finna do it. But anyways, let's stick with the Chiefs. I think they're overhyped. I think they're overhyped. You know what I'm saying? Just pump your brakes, slow down, let them do their thing, and see what they do. You know what I'm saying? They playing solid football right now. They playing decent football. They're not playing the greatest football, but let's bring the hype level down a little bit. Let's take them off that pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Andy Reid still doing a great job coaching and everything, but at the same time, let's bring that down just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to you, K-Po. What team you looking at? Who overhyped, underhyped, or right where they should be if the playoffs were to start today?
I got a list. A lot of y'all finna be mad at me. Dallas Cowboys. Let's start off the rip. Okay. Every time they play sorry teams, oh yeah, they going to the Super Bowl. Can Dak Prescott go to take them to the Super Bowl? Then they play a real team. Dak Prescott throw a couple interceptions. What's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys? What's wrong with Dak Prescott? I'll tell you what's wrong. They trash. That's what's wrong with them. And then what's gonna happen is they gonna lose in the playoffs again, and then they gonna fire Mike McCarthy, and then they gonna bring in somebody else that Jerry Jones can play puppet master with. That's what it is. Another team. I ain't no safety on this guy. Miami Dolphins. Bow. I got them. They overhyped, right? Yeah, they blew out whoever they blew out today. That's cool. That's cute. But when they get in the playoffs, when it really matter, when them bullets flying at you and it's physical and these dudes hitting you and they don't care about Tyreek running a one flat no 40. They gonna hit that boy. That's just what it is. Tua, they gonna hit him. He gonna have another concussion. I'm sorry, brother. I don't wish that on you, but that's what's gonna happen. The problem with the Dolphins is they not physical, right? Jalen Ramsey is not the same corner that he once was. They're flawed. Okay, they're a good team. Let me say this: good team, right? Can put 40 on you, but when you got that team that ain't laying down, that's dogs, and they want to fight, and they hitting you, and they hitting you, and they hitting you. The Dolphins are not mentally tough and durable like that. They not conditioned like that. So I say the Dolphins. I got another team, Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions right now. Okay. I mean, I don't understand, why there's hype behind them. The teams that they're supposed to beat, they got mollywop by them. They played the Ravens. They were picked to beat the Ravens. The Ravens destroyed them. Really, the Ravens made an example off of them and then went on a run themselves off that game. Go back and look. So, I just think Detroit, man, you don't know what you're gonna get with them. It's like they're a physical team, but then they play another team that's physical and then they fold. Or they'll play a sorry team that they supposed to beat and they fold. It's like Jared Goff, he one day he throwing 5 touchdowns, the next day he throwing 5 interceptions. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what they drinking up there in Detroit. I don't know if it's the water. I don't know what's going on. But those my 3 teams that I feel like are overhyped. I feel like, the team that are right where they need to be. I would say the Texans. I mean, no, I would say, yeah, I say the Texans. The Texans are right where they need to be based off of how the style of play. I'm not talking about prior to the season starting. I'm talking about right now. How they're playing and how they're playing people. I mean, they're right where they need to be. So You know, you can look at the 49ers, they're right where they need to be. The Eagles, they're right where they need to be. You know what I mean? So, but those other teams overhyped. And you're gonna see in the playoffs, overhyped.
What Public Enemy say? Don't, don't, don't believe the hype. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I'm right with you on that too. All them teams you mentioned, I feel like they're overhyped plus the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? But hey, folks, you know what it is? We didn't reach the end of the podcast. I'm gonna toss it back over to K-Po and he gonna close y'all out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we gonna be back soon. Let them know, K-Po.
Like he said, man, we gonna be back, man. We gonna come back like Jordan. What was that? 96, 97, or 98, man. He came back and took them back to the championship. That's what we do over here. We come back. We back to back like 94, 95 Rockets. We back to back like the 01, 02 Lakers. I need to keep going. Like I say, man, we trying to build a dynasty here, man, and we need y'all help. So keep subscribing, keep tuning in, share our videos, man. You know what I mean? If you got something you want us to talk about, put in the comment section. We'll read it. You know what I mean? We do read y'all comments. We really appreciate y'all. We look at y'all as family. So help us continue to build this temple together. You know what I mean? Like I say, like, comment, and subscribe. We're running for some smoke. I'm Boss. That's Brody. We gone.
Press me up against the wood grain.